All right, so July is done, the paychecks have hit, and my total income for the month of July was $3,332.61. Now that is a massive change from the previous months, and that's because I got promoted again. I now make $25 an hour as an official restaurant manager at Whataburger. Now, earlier in the year, I got promoted from just like a casual team member to a team leader, and that increased me a little bit, but this is like a full-time role now that I'm stepping into and more of a professional position of a manager, so that is huge for me in my current state of life. The same context I give every single month. My parents cover my rent, my car insurance, my phone bill, and my health insurance, even though that will be changing soon, but for the sake of this video, we will not be focusing on those things. I know that that's not everyone's situations, but the main thing is taking these numbers that I do get to play with and using them to the best of my ability because I am young and I have an incredible opportunity to build wealth. It's the systems and not the numbers, and that thesis actually got tested twice this month. One good and one a little bit more uncomfortable, and we're gonna go over both. This is month 4 of budgeting my numbers on camera consistently. Let's get right into it. The most important part about budgeting is not the numbers, it's the systems and the habits that you're building while budgeting. The first thing that I do every single month is pay myself first. Before subscriptions, before groceries, before any other casual expenses, pay yourself first. So every single month I put 15% into a savings account, 10% into a Roth IRA, and 5% into an individual brokerage account. And this month we're adding on another 10% of that to donation. I want to start being more disciplined about donating to my local church. That's just something that I wanted to add into my budget starting now. And these percentages stay the same every single time. Whether I'm making $3,300, $2,500, or only $800 per month, every single month, this is what these systems are gonna look like because it's the systems and not the numbers. So $1,333.04 goes away before I even hardly see it. 15% to my savings was $499.89. 10% to my Roth IRA was $333.26. 5% to my other investing account was $166.63. And 10% of my donation was $333.26, leaving our running total as $1,999.57. Next up is subscriptions. Subscriptions, I pay a total of $136.12. $100 of that goes into therapy. I take my mental health very seriously, and going to therapy once a month allows me to have that person to talk to, and it's so worth it in my subscriptions tab where it is right now. Next up is the MLS season pass for $8.92 a month. This is something that I actually pay yearly for, but if you break it down each month, you're prepared for it when that yearly subscription comes out, so that's another system that I have in my budget. Spotify is $7.65 per month. I'm on the student plan, so it's a little bit discounted for me because I get to take advantage of student benefits. $17.55 per month for Adobe, and that is also on the student discount just because I get to take advantage of that right now. Lastly, Velia is $2 a month. That's just something that I use for content creation. And after all my subscriptions come out, I'm left with $1,863.45 for the month. Then I have my casual expenses category. Grocery, I put $300 in that bucket. I put $100 in the gas bucket, $300 in the fun bucket, leaving me with $1,163.45 left over for the month of August. So $1,163.45 left over. That would normally be where the leftover section ends, but not this month. This promotion came with a bit of a cost, and I'm gonna run you through all of those numbers with receipts. The part of stepping into this promotion meant I had to be trained, and training took place for me an hour and a half from where I live, meaning that I had to do a lot of extra driving. I had to buy groceries for a hotel and my apartment, and I also had to get an oil change on my car due to all this extra driving. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend that that didn't cost a lot of money extra. So the total over for the month of July was $621.31. Instead of hiding that and acting like that was just some off number, I want to break it down and explain to you why I went over budget that much. I spent $130 extra on gas just for the commute. I spent $150 extra on groceries just to be able to have groceries in the hotel and have groceries at my apartment here. Next up, I had to pay $100 for an oil change. It was something I knew was coming up at some point over the summer, and it finally hit once I put on these extra miles on my car. Next up was $150 for gifts and events for the month of August. I went ahead and bought those ahead of time. I would have done that either way, and I would have pulled it from savings. It just happened to look extra worse this month. Lastly, I had a bunch of extra coffee that I ended up buying because I didn't have my coffee maker that I normally have in my apartment in my hotel room. So every single morning I went out and got extra lattes, and that totaled to $91.31. And I spent a lot of extra time working on content in those coffee shops, so it was worth it. This $91 was absolutely worth it, but that is that money. leaving us with $542.14 from that original total. Then, if you remember, back in July, the big thing was that I kind of spontaneously booked a trip to Boston with a family member, and I still had some left over to pay once I got promoted in August, and I knew that I had that extra money coming in. So I had to cover the extra $268.38 from Boston, leaving me for the month of August with $273.76. So no, this was not a perfect month whatsoever, but every single dollar of that extra over had a purpose. It wasn't just overspending, it was the fact that I had to spend extra money to be able to make more money long term. So that $273.76 is what we're actually left over with for the month of August. Now, if you guys call back to my April video of when I originally got promoted to be a shift leader at Whataburger, I had some extra money from that promotion that I was going to use to kind of reward myself a little bit for working hard and getting promoted this young. But I didn't end up getting to use that money because my phone broke and I had to use that money to be able to replace it easily without having to break the bank. And so now that I have this extra money and no unexpected expenses are coming in this time, hopefully, I'm going to use this money to reward myself just for having a great 2 years of college so far, being promoted twice in those 2 years, mainly in those 6 months, and just allow myself to finally enjoy some of the money that I'm making extra now with this promotion. So the main 4 takeaways when it comes to monthly budgeting is to always pay yourself first, to use percentages and not numbers. That way, every single time that you add a new category or your income scales, the system still falls back into place and is easy to go with. Next up is to give a ceiling to every single category so that you know how much you have to spend there and you don't overspend. And lastly, remember that when something costs money, a promotion, overspend, any actual problems that you have, the system is what you fall back to. The system shows you how you're going to cover that unexpected expense, and that's why the system exists. That's been 4 months in a row of doing this, and this is what consistency looks like. Every single account is growing slowly with time and consistency. If you guys are new here and didn't know, I'm actually a finance major at college, and that is why I talk about these things. I have loved personal finance for my entire life, and this is just me taking the wealth that I'm trying to build for myself and teaching it back to you guys, because this has been 2 years of me doing relentless research because I didn't know a lot of personal finance things. It seemed complicated to me, it seemed ridiculous, and something that wasn't worth my time. I then took the time to learn it, and now I'm trying to relay that back to you guys and show you real time of me budgeting the numbers and showing you guys that it is possible to make a way for yourself even when money is hard to deal with sometimes. And if you guys want to come along for the channel and see all sort of financial videos and me being very open about my finances and teaching you guys how to manage your own money and make it really easy to do so, I ask that you subscribe and come along for that journey. Anyways, I hope you guys really enjoyed this video, and I will see you all very soon.